Welcome! In this video we're going to build a nice cover for our website. Let's head to Bootstrap and use a Bootstrap component called Jumbotron as a cover. Let's copy the simple one and paste it. Now we enter some info about ourselves. First, in the biggest heading, our name. Mine is Moritz Stellmacher. And then in the paragraph a short text about ourselves. Now let's add an image of us. We will also use a Bootstrap component for that. Let's use this thumbnail here. Copy the code and paste it in our HTML file. Now we need an image that we can use. I have prepared this one for me. Let's create a new folder for our images to keep everything a bit more organized. I will call it IMG. I will drag now my image in this folder. To look good, it should be quadratic. So if your photo isn't, you can use a simple photo editor to edit it. Like this one. This is just a simple online tool you can use to very simply edit your photos. It is called Pixlr and you can access it on pixlr.com. Our image element here has an attribute which is called src or source, where we have to specify where the image is at. This could be a web address, but in our case we are having the image in our directory, because we don't want to depend on any other website. Maybe they will delete our image. So our file is under img, then a slash because we are going inside a folder, and then the name of our file, which is moritz.png. Let's also put something inside our alt attribute, so there is a text in case we don't have an image. We already have a nice preview in our atom, but in this video I want to show you how you can also style your elements right in the browser. But first of all, since most people will visit websites on their mobile phones, we should also have a look how this looks like on a mobile phone, before we begin to style it. Most browsers, including Google Chrome that I am using, have something called developer tools. They can become very handy. To open them, make a right click on the window and choose Inspect on Chrome. If you are wondering why mine looks different than yours, it's because I have enabled the dark theme. You can change it here under settings. There are a lot of things that we can do with the developer tools, but first of all let's preview our page in mobile view. Let's click here on the right on Toggle Device toolbar, and now we can choose a device that we want to preview our page on. iPhones, iPads, Samsungs. You can also add more devices or create your own custom ones. I am currently using an iPhone 7, so I will choose this, and I can even show the device frame if I want, like this. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, this is how our page looks like on mobile. I will hide the frame again. Now let's have a closer look on what we are having on the right here. In the top window we have currently the tab Elements selected. As you can see, this shows us our HTML code. Great. Now we can select an element. Let's say we want to change our Jumbotron. And here our image. In the window below we can see the styles that are applied to this element. We can see that it has two classes. And below even more things that influence its style. On the very top there is an element style. This is just applied to the selected element, similar as if we would make a style attribute in our code. So let's change something in here. First, let's change the image and make it way smaller. I'm shy. Let's give it also a little bit more space. We'll use EM instead of pixels. That is a unit that orientates itself on the font size. The default Bootstrap font size is 14 pixels, so 0.5 EM is 7 pixels. Okay, this looks nice. Now let's write this in our code so the change is permanent. We could write this into our index.html, but we want to have our styles all in a separate file. How can we access our element? Well, it has the img thumbnail class. So let's use this for our styling. Dot for the class, and it's called img-thumbnail. And now we can reload the page, and the picture stays the same. You can see it's not any longer in the style element, but now part of the IMG thumbnail here, of our main CSS. Okay, now let's make our cover a bit nicer. First of all, let's align our content in the middle. This looks already a lot nicer. Now let's go for the background. I want to have a little more space on the side. If I just specify two values on margin, the first one is for the top and bottom, and the second one for the sides. Okay, now let's make the cover full screen. So let's change the height, but we need some space at the bottom. So let's say our cover will be 88% of the viewport. We can use VH for that. But now everything is there on the top. Let's center the content vertically across the cover. In order to do this, we need to set display flex. We are using a flex box, which is a new module which makes it easier to design responsive layout structures. Now we can, for example, align our items vertically to the center. Okay, this already looks pretty nice. But this gray background is very boring. Let's get some color in it. And I want to use a gradient, a transition of color. There are some very cool websites to get a nice looking gradient. The one I'm going to use is called Gradient Hunt. Let's go to gradienthunt.com and look for the most popular gradients. And I like this one. So I can just click and copy the code. Let's paste it in here with Ctrl and V. And this already looks a lot nicer. So we have a gradient, which means the color changes gradually. This is actually a circle that starts with a color, then comes another color and a third final color at the end. But I want to go for a little bit more blue. Okay, this looks pretty nice. Let's make the font white. That looks better on color. Nice. One last thing. I don't like the corners of our cover. This actually comes from the class Jumbotron Fluid. Let's deactivate it. That's better. Let's check it out on different devices. Okay, it's moving a bit to the right, but this will change when we reload the page. So everything else looks nice. And let's copy this code to make the change permanent. Let's go into our style sheet and change the Jumbotron class. Paste our code in here. Okay, we need to make it a bit more readable. And the VH is new, so we need to take care of older browsers. Let's use percentage. So if it doesn't work, the browser will use this, and this is better than nothing. Now let's get rid of our fluid class in the HTML. And we are ready with our cover. You can also use a background image instead of the gradient if you like. In the next video, we are adding different sections with actual content for our website.